So for our very first original Nexus-born hero, Blizzard has decided to lead us off with an underage schoolgirl who can summon tentacles to attack people.
Nice.
This is the Heroes of the Storm Heroic Spotlight, and today we're looking at Orphea, the heir of the Raven Court. And she is awesome! So if my update schedule around here is any indication, my interest in heroes can come and go sporadically, and it usually takes a pretty solid addition to the Nexus to have me come running back and throw even more money at Blizzard Entertainment.
Shut up and take my money!
I mean, I was mostly checked out for additions like Whitemane and Mephisto, and Mal'Ganis really didn't interest me. Like at all. I mean, I haven't even played him yet, but somehow I'm still sick of him already. Seriously, fuck this guy, and fuck his sleep, and fuck you, Blizzard. But when my friends told me that the next hero was going to be entirely original, I was intrigued. I mean, I know a major draw of heroes is that you get to play as established Blizzard characters in a new setting, but one thing I really like about League of Legends is that anything can potentially be a champion. I mean, they have a tree, and a rock, and a bird, another tree. Yeah, okay, maybe those aren't the best examples, but Orphea is pretty rad.
Alright, first person to come in here, getting fucked.
Hi. Do I need to call Chris Hansen?
I'm Chris Hansen. Please have a seat.
Admittedly, she was teased a ways back in the comic that they made, but I didn't read that, so I went into playing her totally blind, because that's what I do around here. And I was surprised by how much fun she is to play. For starters, she's not broken. And yeah, I know some people are going to argue that, and say her burst damage is too high, or that her self-healing needs a nerf. But honestly, I played her for like 30 plus games in a row, and she's really balanced. Okay, hear me out. Yes, she can burst people down, and yes, she can sustain herself, but she lacks a really viable escape beyond her Q, and we'll get to that. She doesn't have an Ice Block variant, so she's easy pickings for things like Hunt or Pyroblast, and honestly, miss one or two skill shots and she loses her only source of sustain. Unlike characters like Mal'Ganis, who has the health and escapes, or Mephisto, who can engage from a safe distance with a built-in escape, Orphea is just fair. Usually I save my thoughts for the end, but I swear to God, if one more person tells me she's broken, I'm gonna fucking shoot myself. Her passive is Overflowing Chaos. Whenever you hit an enemy hero with a basic ability, Orphea generates one Orb of Chaos, which can stack up to 3 times. When she has any of these orbs, her next basic attack will consume all Chaos to deal 50% more damage per orb, and heal for all the damage dealt. Now to me, a sign of a good passive is one that does its job even without any talents or player input, and Orphea's does that perfectly. It grants her more damage as well as a solid way of sustaining herself while she's in lane. Naturally, there are ways to buff it further, and even a way to make it a more active usability, but just by itself, it's a really solid core to her kit.
How much and what? 250. Okay, what's the job? My son Andrew keeps opening his bedroom window at night, even though I keep telling him not to. It's full-on winter right now, and he's blowing up the heating bill when he does it. So if you agree, I'm going to tell him that if he doesn't close the window, a fat, evil dwarf will climb into the window and steal all of his toys. I have a ladder for you to climb up to the window and walkie-talkies for us to talk. When you start climbing into the window, make lots of panting/grunting sounds to wake Andrew. When I hear him yell, I will run into the room with a large broom and bug repellent, which I will spray you with before shoving you out of the window with the broom. I have purchased a very large beanbag bed from Sharper Image, and we will put that under the window for you to fall onto, only about 15 feet. 12 a.m. would be the best time, as I know Andrew will be asleep. I can also provide a written reference you may add to your employment portfolio. Is this real? Yes, Isaac, and I need results. What the fuck? Like, what sort of twisted parenting is this?
I have a question. The only question that's worth asking. What does the reference say?
Right?
Shadow Waltz is Orphea's Q. After 0.5 seconds, she deals minor damage to all enemies in a line. Hitting an enemy hero immediately resets the cooldown of this to 2 seconds and refunds its mana cost, but even better is that it allows Orphea a short dash the next time she goes to move. Now this ability is Orphea's only means of escape, and as you might imagine, it's not the most reliable way to do it. You have to constantly land your Qs in order to put some distance between you and a chasing opponent, and if you miss even once, it's likely you won't be getting away. On the flip side, however, this is also a great way for Orphea to engage with either her W or her auto attacks, and it's also an excellent way to chase down a weaker enemy hero for the kill. basically as long as you can land it, Shadow Waltz will do whatever you need it to do. So apparently during her development, Blizzard was really attached to the idea of Orphea being a dancer-like caster, weaving in and out of battle with her abilities, but the idea was slowly dropped in favor of making her more accessible to a wider variety of players. That's a shame because the concept art of her dancer skin was really pretty. I don't have a joke here, but every time I complain about Blizzard not giving us a skin, we seem to get it, so... Her W is Chomp, and holy crap, this is where things start to get stupid. After 0.625 seconds, that's really fucking specific, Orphea deals moderate damage to all nearby enemies in front of her. Now the attack is pretty telegraphed, especially when you get close to someone, but where it gets really silly is with the talents. Well, with one talent. At level 7, Orphea can take Ravenous Hunger, a talent that, when used properly, makes her burst fucking mental. Hitting or killing a minion within 1.5 seconds of it being hit by Chomp permanently increases its damage by 2, and heals Orphea by a small amount. But killing heroes with it increases the damage by 40, and boosts that healing to 25% of her max health. Now you might be thinking, oh, I have to grind for it. Why is that broken? Well, the answer is simple. It doesn't have a cap. Okay. Okay, that was from full health. 1008 plus 676. This is disgusting. If you play around this, you can make Orphea a downright monster in the late game, dealing tons of extra damage just from one attack alone. Pair that with the right enemy team, like Murky or the Vikings, or really anyone squishy you can pin down, and it's beyond simple to do this. Honestly, this talent was so crazy they already had to nerf it before she was even properly released. Also, I'd just like to point out that the monster Orphea uses doesn't have a real name, but during the development cycle everyone just started calling it Chomp. And he's so cute! Dread is Orphea's E, and it's the only ability in her entire kit that doesn't have a delay. With it, you release a wave of Dread that deals minor damage to all enemies along its path. When it reaches the end of the path, Dread erupts for additional damage and applies a slow after 0.75 seconds. Okay, so there's kind of a delay, but it's still a great ability. It's got a stupid big range, allowing you to poke your enemies from afar and build up stacks of chaos at the same time. Use this in teamfights or while you're chasing an enemy, or hell, even when you're trying to get away. That slow can be a lifesaver in the right situations. In fact, you can even spec Dread to let you use Chomp after it detonates, and hey, that picture kind of reminds me of something.
What a pretty little girl! I do like them pretty! But look at this boy! He's even prettier!
Oh god, Ultras, what did they do to you? So that brings us to her ults. Now, both have their uses, but I definitely have my preference when it comes to choosing. So let's start with that one. Crushing Jaws is a fantastic all-purpose setup tool for your team. After 1.25 seconds, Orphea pulls all enemies towards the center of the burst, dealing moderate damage and stunning them for 0.75 seconds. Now this doesn't sound like much at first, until you chain it into your Q and your E and throw Chomp in there, not to mention whatever your team can dish out as well. Since I have such a strong liking for Ravenous Hunger, I generally use this as a way to pick up a few stacks whenever possible. In fact, one of the best things about this ult is how it's buffed at 20, dropping its already low cooldown to just 5 seconds whenever you pick up a kill, and lowering the armor of any enemy hero you hit by 25%, putting them at even greater risk of Chomp finishing them off. Her other heroic is Eternal Feast. Sadly, this is one I can't recommend, unless you've got the right team comp to back it up. After 1.5 seconds, Orphea deals moderate damage in a wide circular area. This will repeat every second as long as it manages to hit an enemy hero, going on indefinitely until it misses, kills everyone, or they scatter. The problem with this is the setup. It's super easy for enemy heroes to get out of the way, making you waste your shot, or ultimately giving your heroic no bite. Pun badly intended. Where Eternal Feast starts to shine, however, is alongside heroes like ETC, Zarya, Leoric, or anyone else with an ability that will keep a fucker pinned down. The longer you can keep your enemy confined in Chomp's feeding frenzy, the more effective it will be. But alone, and without any hard CC, this heroic just kinda falls flat. Honestly, it all makes for a very easy decision once you hit level 10. Are you set up for greatness? Go Feast. If not, take the stun. And that's Orphea. Like I said at the start, she's amazingly fun to play, and unlike most heroes upon release, she didn't start out as broken or OP. It's definitely refreshing to see Blizzard try something new and give us an entirely fresh character from the Nexus. And hey, pretty soon we're gonna have new class setups and mechanics and... oh yeah! Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I know it's been a long time since I did one of these, but hey, you've got to be used to that by now, right? As always, I'd love to hear what you think about Orphea or this video or both in the comments below. I'm slowly working towards making videos more frequent again since I'm playing heroes so much, so with any luck, I'll see all of you in the Nexus.